All right. Hey, this is Jim with the long game, and let's get into this thing. What is going to happen tonight is the president addresses the nation at 9 o'clock. You know, there have been a number of folks speculating throughout the day. What's the president going to talk about? Is it going to be mission accomplished in Iran? Is it going to be we're going in hot and heavy? Is it going to be something about NATO? I mean, there has been a sprinkling of things all day today, all day. So what we've seen so far is the president kind of, uh, typical showmanship of the president. He loads it up. He lets people wonder what's going to happen. He creates a little bit of a presser throughout the day with dropping some breadcrumbs. So we're going to see. And when it happens, when the president goes live, we'll actually go live to hear directly from him. Now, my wife tells me that I've got to talk a little bit more while the president talks. She said, you can't just like turn the president on and be quiet. People like when you're giving a little commentary. So if you don't like it, it's my wife's fault. Not really. But it's just the idea of, can we add a little something to this mix? Now, there is so let's see. A few things are happening, and I see you're in the stream now. So if you'll just take a second, drop where you're from. That's all you got to say. Just drop where you're from. We used to do this every episode. When we started the episode, the music would be playing, and we could kind of get to know where everybody's from. And after a while, we started to see the same folks kind of winding up, and it's really great. So take a second, get in the comments, and just say the city, the state, wherever you're from. We want to see that. We want to know. So when the president starts talking, we'll go right there. Now, we have been working on something. Are we ready on this? Almost. Okay. All right. We got a little surprise tonight. So we've been working on some stuff. There's been some things happening here in the studio. We have been piecing this together chunk by chunk. Now, as we move in, a couple of things that are really coming up in at least my mind. Where's the country? Where's the country's head when it comes to Iran? In the background right now. You can hear it in the background. Okay, we're going to end up playing this in just a second, but we've been working on this thing. And so we used to have some music that kind of promoted in on the front end. Okay, here it is. So it's up on screen now. Now here's the backstory behind this. So we wanted to have an intro, and we wanted it to be a little funny, a little different, and we're going to crowdsource this with you. So we want to hear what you have to say about it. If you hate it, that's okay. Just tell us you hate it. If you like it, tell us you like it. We're going to try a few of these, and this will be a little intro. So I'm going to be quiet, let this thing play, and hear what you guys think. Let her rip. And look at this. The old guy wins because he played the long game, right? Okay, so that's the first one. Now, this is the first one. We want to hear what you had to think about it or what you thought. Look, the cool thing about this, there's no AI involved in this, and I'm a guy who loves AI, but there was no AI. This one was done 100% with actually an artist. So you can see a little bit of comic work in there. It's hand drawn. It was created and produced, by our esteemed colleague here on site. Look, if you grew up watching, cartoons, it may be a little different from the 80s than it was from the 90s, from the 2000s, but it's got an interesting look, right? The crowd starts out, they're kind of elbowing, they're making space, they're making their way in. And then eventually the thing kicks off, and we see the old guy who's got kind of the steady pace, makes it to the top. He beats those people who are kind of fighting it out. So look, that's the long game. Now, here we go. The president's here.
Begin by congratulating the team at NASA and our brave astronauts, 'Astronauts' on the successful launch of Artemis II. It was quite something. 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 It was It will be traveling further than any manned rocket has ever flown and will very substantially pass the moon, go around it, and come back home from a distance that has never been done before. It's amazing. They are on the way, and God bless them. These are brave people. We want to God bless those 4 unbelievable astronauts. As we speak this evening, it's been just 1 month since the United States military began Operation Epic Fury, targeting the world's #1 state sponsor of terror, Iran. In these past 4 weeks, our armed forces have delivered swift, decisive, overwhelming victories on the battlefield, victories like few people have ever seen before. Tonight, Iran's Navy is gone. Their Air Force is in ruins. Their leaders, most of them terrorist regime they led, are now dead. Their command and control of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is being decimated as we speak. Their ability to launch missiles and drones is dramatically curtailed, and their weapons, factories, and rocket launchers are being blown to pieces. Very few of them left. Never in the history of warfare has an enemy suffered such clear and devastating large-scale losses in a matter of weeks. Our enemies are losing in America, as it has been for 5 years under my presidency, is winning, and now winning bigger than ever before. Before discussing this current situation, I also want to thank our troops for the masterful job they did in taking the country of Venezuela in a matter of minutes. That hit was quick, lethal, violent, and respected by everyone all over the world. After rebuilding our military during my first term, we have by far the strongest military anywhere in the world. And now we're working along with Venezuela and are, in a true sense, joint venture partners. We're getting along incredibly well in the production and sale of massive amounts of oil and gas, the second largest reserves on Earth after the United States of America. We're now totally independent of the Middle East, and yet we are there to help. We don't have to be there. We don't need their oil. We don't need anything they have, but we're there to help our allies. Tonight, I want to provide an update on the tremendous progress our warriors have made in Iran and discuss why Operation Epic Fury is necessary for the safety
Here we
of
go.
America and the
Let's hear about
security
Iran.
of the
Epic
free
Fury.
world. From the very first day I announced my campaign for president in 2015, I have vowed that I would never allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. This fanatical regime has been chanting death to America, death to Israel for 47 years. Their proxies were behind the murder of 241 Americans in the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut, the slaughter of hundreds of our service members with roadside bombs. They were involved in the attack on the USS Cole, and they carried out the countless other heinous acts, including the just horrible, bloody atrocities of October 7th in Israel, something that most people have never seen anything like it. This murderous regime also recently killed 45,000 of their own people who were protesting in Iran. 45,000 dead. For these terrorists to have nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat. The most violent and thuggish regime on earth would be free to carry out their campaigns of terror, coercion, conquest, and mass murder from behind a nuclear shield. I will never let that happen, and neither should any of our past presidents. This situation has been going on for 47 years and should have been handled long before I arrived in office. I did many things during my 2 terms in office to stop the quest for nuclear weapons by Iran first, and perhaps most importantly, I killed General Qasem Soleimani in my first term. He was an evil genius, brilliant person, a horrible human being, however, the father of the roadside bomb, and he lived just horrible what he did. Iran would have been perhaps in far better, stronger position. Had he lived, we would have had probably a different conversation tonight. But you know what? We'd still be winning and winning big. And then, very importantly, I terminated Barack Hussein Obama's Iran nuclear deal, a disaster. Obama gave them $1.7 billion in cash, green cash. Took it out of banks from Virginia, D.C., and Maryland, all the cash they had. He flew it by airplanes in an attempt to buy their respect and loyalty, but it didn't work. They laughed at our president and went on with their mission to have a nuclear bomb. His Iran deal would have led to a colossal arsenal of massive nuclear weapons for Iran, and they would have had them years ago, and they would have used them. It would have been a different world. There would have been no Middle East and no Israel right now, in my opinion, the opinion of a lot of great experts. Had I not terminated that terrible deal, and I was honored to do it. I was so proud to do it. It was so bad right from the beginning. Essentially, I did what no other president was willing to do. They made mistakes, and I am correcting them. My first preference was always the path of diplomacy, yet the regime continued their relentless quest for nuclear weapons and rejected every attempt at an agreement. For this reason, in June, I ordered a strike on Iran's key nuclear facilities, an Operation Midnight Hammer. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Those beautiful B-2 bombers performed magnificently. We totally obliterated those nuclear sites. The regime then sought to rebuild their nuclear program at a totally different location, making clear they had no intention of abandoning their pursuit of nuclear weapons. They were also rapidly building a vast stockpile.
What are we thinking so far, guys? Let me know in the chat.
And would soon have had missiles that could reach the American homeland, Europe, and virtually any other place on Earth. Iran's strategy was so obvious. They wanted to produce as many missiles as possible, and they did, with the longest range possible. And they had some weapons that nobody believed they had. We just learned that out. We took them out. We took them all out so that no one would really dare stop them. And their race for a nuclear bomb, a nuclear weapon like nobody's ever seen before. They were right at the doorstep. For years, everyone has said that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons, but in the end, those are just words if you're not willing to take action when the time comes. As I stated in my announcement of Operation Epic Fury, our objectives are very simple and clear. We are systematically dismantling the regime's ability to threaten America or project power outside of their borders. That means eliminating Iran's Navy, which is now absolutely destroyed, hurting their Air Force and their missile program at levels never seen before, and annihilating their defense industrial base. We've done all of it. Their Navy is gone, their Air Force is gone, their missiles are just about used up or beaten. Taken together, these actions will cripple Iran military, crush their ability to support terrorist proxies, and deny them the ability to build a nuclear bomb. Our armed forces have been extraordinary. There's never been anything like it militarily. Everyone is talking about it, and tonight I'm pleased to say that these core strategic objectives are nearing completion. As we celebrate this progress, we think especially of the 13 American warriors who have laid down their lives in this fight to prevent our children from ever having to face a nuclear Iran. Twice this past month, I have traveled to Dover Air Force Base, and it's been something. I wanted to be with those heroes as they return to American soil, and I was with them and their families, their parents, their wives, their husbands. We salute them, and now we must honor them by completing the mission for which they gave their lives. And every single one of the people, their loved ones said, "Please, sir, please finish the job," every one of them. And we are going to finish the job, and we're going to finish it very fast. We're getting very close. I want to thank our allies in the Middle East, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, Kuwait, and Bahrain. They've been great, and we will not let them get hurt or fail in any way, shape, or form. Many Americans have been concerned to see the recent rise in gasoline prices here at home. This short-term increase has been entirely the result of the Iranian regime launching deranged terror attacks against commercial oil tankers in neighboring countries that have nothing to do with the conflict. This is yet more proof that Iran can never be trusted with nuclear weapons. They will use them, and they will use them quickly. It would lead to decades of extortion, economic pain, and instability worse than we can ever imagine. The United States has never been better prepared economically to confront this threat. You all know that. We built the strongest economy in history. We're going through it right now, the strongest in history. In 1 year, we've taken a dead and crippled country. I hate to say that, but we were a dead and crippled country after the last administration and made it the hottest country anywhere in the world by far, with no inflation, record-setting investments coming into the United States, over $18 trillion, and the highest stock market ever, with 53 all-time record highs in just 1 year. It all positioned us to get rid of a cancer that has long simmered. It's known as the nuclear Iran, and they didn't know what was coming. They've never imagined it. Remember, because of our Drill Baby Drill program, America has plenty of gas. We have so much gas. Under my leadership, we are #1 producer of oil and gas on the planet, without even discussing the millions of barrels that we're getting from Venezuela. Because of the Trump administration's policies, we produce more oil and gas than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. Think of that, Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. And that number will soon be substantially higher than that. There's no country like us anywhere in the world, and we're in great shape for the future. The United States imports almost no oil through the Hormuz Strait and won't be taking any in the future. We don't need it. We haven't needed it, and we don't need it. We've beaten and completely decimated Iran. They are decimated, both militarily and economically and every other way. And the countries of the world that do receive oil through the Hormuz Strait must take care of that passage. They must cherish it. They must grab it and cherish it. They can do it easily. We will be helpful, but they should take the lead in protecting the oil that they so desperately depend on. So to those countries that can't get fuel, many of which refuse to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, we had to do it ourselves. I have a suggestion. #1, buy oil from the United States of America. We have plenty. We have so much. And #2, build up some delayed courage. Should have done it before. Should have done it with us, as we asked. Go to the Strait and just take it, protect it, use it for yourselves. Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done, so it should be easy. And in any event, when this conflict is over, the Strait will open up naturally. It'll just open up naturally. They're going to want to be able to sell oil because that's all they have to try and rebuild. It will resume the flowing, and the gas prices will rapidly come back down. Stock prices will rapidly go back up. They haven't come down very much, frankly. They came down a little bit, but they've had some very good days over the last couple of days. We've done.
And tell me if you're for
much
cheaper
better than I
gas
thought.
and lower
We had to
oil
take that
prices.
little journey
Give me a thumbs
to
up
Iran
in the
to get rid
comments.
of this horrible threat. With our historic tax cuts, where people are just now talking about receiving larger refunds than they ever thought possible. They are getting so much more money than they thought. That's from the great big beautiful bill. Our economy is strong and improving by the day, and it will soon be roaring back like never before. It will top the levels that it was a month ago. I've made clear from the beginning of Operation Epic Fury that we will continue until our objectives are fully achieved. Thanks to the progress we've made, I can say tonight that we are on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly, very shortly. We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong. In the meantime, discussions are ongoing. Regime change was Not our goal. We never said regime change, but regime change has occurred because of all of their original leaders' death. They're all dead. The new group is less radical and much more reasonable. Yet if during this period of time no deal is made, we have our eyes on key targets. If there is no deal, we are going to hit each and every one of their electric generating plants very hard and probably simultaneously. We have not hit their oil, even though that's the easiest target of all, because it would not give them even a small chance of survival or rebuilding. But we could hit it, and it would be gone, and there's not a thing they could do about it. They have no anti-aircraft equipment. Their radar is 100% annihilated. We are unstoppable as a military force. The nuclear sites that we obliterated with the B-2 bombers have been hit so hard that it would take months to get near the nuclear dust, and we have it under intense satellite surveillance and control. If we see them make a move, even a move for it, we'll hit them with missiles very hard again. We have all the cards, they have none. It's very important that we keep this conflict in perspective. American involvement in World War I lasted 1 year, 7 months, and 5 days. World War II lasted for 3 years, 8 months, and 25 days. The Korean War lasted for 3 years, 1 month, and 2 days. The Vietnam War lasted for 19 years, 5 months, and 29 days. Iraq went on for 8 years, 8 months, and 28 days. We are in this military operation, so powerful, so brilliant, against one of the most powerful countries for 32 days. And the country has been eviscerated and essentially is really no longer a threat. They were the bully of the Middle East, but they're the bully no longer. This is a true investment in your children and your grandchildren's future. The whole world is watching, and they can't leave the power, strength, and brilliance. They just can't believe what they're seeing. They leave it to your imagination, but they can't believe what they're seeing, the brilliance of the United States military. Tonight, every American can look forward to a day when we are finally free from the wickedness of Iranian aggression and the specter of nuclear blackmail. Because of the actions we have taken, we are on the cusp of ending Iran's sinister threat to America and the world. And I'll tell you, the world is watching. And when we do, when it's all over, the United States will be safer, stronger, more prosperous, and greater than it has ever been before. May God bless the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much, and good night.
All right, guys. So there it is. There it is. A couple of interesting things about his speech, right? First of all, we make more oil than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. That's actually incredible, because to think it wasn't but a year ago, a little over a year ago, that we were struggling in this department under the Biden administration. We had stopped as much of the oil as he had started. And imagine that really in a year's time, an executive can actually clean the decks and make it possible that you can generate that much oil that fast. So a year. Okay, so he says we've decimated Iran economically and militarily. I thought it was interesting, as he touched on the Gold Star family, saying that he'd gone twice to receive the families. Look, I happen to know a couple of these families, and I won't say names. One of them's been on the podcast before. Super family, is as patriotic as you can imagine. And they actually had a chance to go meet with Melania and President Trump in the first administration. Although their son was killed in a previous administration, they talked about how surprised they were. They had been told one thing by the handlers: hey, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. You're going to get like 5 minutes and, shake his hand. He's going to shake everybody's hand, and then he's going to move on. And he said it was hours. He said first They said that there was a very formal way to do this. We opened the door and he came to us. And I thought, what a testimony really for the most powerful man in the free world, that he really cares about the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, like that, and cares about the families. And it's not just something that he's doing as lip service, but hearing from real Gold Star families and their experience, I thought was outstanding. Okay, all the Gold Star families, all of them said finish the job. So it looks like he's tonight. No big breaking news. No news flash that the 82nd and the 101st and the Army Rangers are landing all at one time. The Marines have stormed the beaches. None of that. But what we did hear is that he was laying the groundwork for the Strait of Hormuz to just be naturally open, and for those countries in the region to take it and manage it. 3 weeks of hitting hard. 3 weeks of hitting hard. I thought that was pretty interesting. So we're going to see what happens with the 3 weeks. He said if they don't make a deal, we'll bomb them back to the Stone Age. So look, I mean, these are serious problems. When you start thinking about taking out the electrical generation, the electrical grid, take that away, you take away the oil, and you really do start to look a little prehistoric pretty fast. So hopefully the regime that's there, which he says is a much gentler, I don't think that was his exact word, but an easier to negotiate with, less hardline regime. So he's there and he's doing that. And really the big thing that I took from this is we are unstoppable. We are unstoppable. Militarily, we are unstoppable. So all right, let's go to the comments, and true to form, a little bit of technical difficulty. So having a little challenge. Yvonne Crawford, my gosh, my niece from far away. I haven't seen you before, and maybe this was a chance meeting, but I don't know. Bighorn Hospital District. I'm trying to put it together, Yvonne. So send me the pictures. Send me some birth certificate or something. I don't know that we're related, but we could be. We could be. Okay. So Shelly, great to see you. So for some reason, it took a minute for these comments to catch up. And Tim, I see your comment to Shannon, or to to Sandra rather. Sandra said she wasn't going to listen. Tim says, "Well, apparently you are." I thought that was pretty good. Victor, fantastic. Sandra, look, I don't know. What do you mean a bunch of lies? You're going to have to expand on that. Everything that I heard so far sounded true tonight. What's going on out there that you're not liking? And let's see. So we got Shelly, we got Don. Hey, Don. George, how you doing, man? And Eileen also was not going to listen. So we have 2 non-listeners that are posting on the site, and apparently they have their headphones in, but not tuned into this channel. So there are people who have nothing to do on the internet. So they will come into an internet like this, right? And they say, I'm not listening. I'm not listening. But they want to make sure they comment and that they're heard. So I appreciate you guys responding and giving them some feedback. I mean, that is helpful. And I'd like to know what it is exactly. Why would you come to a site where they're playing the president to not listen? But hey, that's okay. It's different strokes for different folks. That's why there's 31 flavors ice cream at Ben and Jerry's, right? Or at Baskin Robbins. Sorry. Christine, finally a president that loves America. I feel like probably most presidents, truthfully, they love America just in a different way. This is a president who loves America like I love America, or like the America that I think of, right? So, Judy, good to see you. I'm so proud of our military too, and the president. It takes a lot when you're thinking about history, and this happens to a lot of politicians. They get enough fame, enough recognition that they really just want to be recognized, and they want to build the stories that will be told about them, and build that reputation for generations. And the Donald hasn't done that, right? He simply said, hey, if there's something that I think needs to be done, I'm going to do it. And it was a great risk to him to go to Iran. We've talked about this for 40 years. Look, nobody's a fan of having military actions. Nobody wants another war. But man, I can say I'm absolutely appreciative that at least somebody has the sense of mission and purpose to say, hey, this is something that needs done. And I believe in it enough that we'll go do it. Now, what do you guys think? What were your takeaways tonight on the speech? Anything there that you heard that you said, man, he's spot on? Anything where you feel like he's really off base? We're always open to having those discussions if you disagree. No problem with disagreement. No problem at all. So, and I guess the end of the day, here's what we're going to look at. We got 3 weeks. It sounds like 3 weeks, and we're going to see some real hard hitting 3 weeks. Back to the Stone Age, right? I mean, he said, if they even touch, if it even looks like they're going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I think the problem that Iran and their military has and their proxies have is he's proven himself to mean it, right? This is where you've had red lines in the past. You've had folks claim that they won't let this be passed. They won't let that be crossed. And then they let it. Well, maybe we'll just scoot it a little bit to the right, scoot it a little to the left, rearrange the furniture. And he doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. You can disagree with him. I don't think you can disagree with the fact that the guy loves America and he thinks he's doing what's best for America. I don't think he really needed to be in this job. I love when I hear people talk about he's there for the money. And I think, man, I saw some reports on how much money he's actually given up to take this job. It is a little bit crazy, right? So, Sen, I see you're on here. Do you know, Yvonne? Apparently, I'm Uncle Jim. I love it. I've got more. That maybe this is going to be the Uncle Jim show. From now on, the Uncle Jim show. All right. So one more time, because we cut it short, I want to show this intro again, and I want you to get a concept here. So, we played the music before, and here's what would happen. Honestly, we would get into the show, and there would be people who would say, I hate that music. Stop playing that music. Music's ridiculous. Now we don't have the music, and I have people saying, including my wife, saying, I really miss the music. I really wish I could see the music. Can we see the music more? Or can we hear more music? Like to hear more. Maybe she just wants to hear music instead of me talking, but she wants more music. So what I want you to see is this is an intro. We had this thing done by an artist. So this is kind of cool. No AI involved, an artist. This is an actual cartoonist, came up with the concept. The concept you can see is the long game. It's call it the race of life, right? So we're all get into the race. We're all on the starting blocks. The starter fires the pistol and off we go. And go ahead, take it away. Technical difficulty here. Just 1 second. We got a new system, so we are working some bugs out. Now I see it on the screen. I'm a little bit delayed. Playing? Did it? All right. I don't know if this played. Just give me a thumbs up if it played for you guys. I know you probably heard the music, but could you guys see it? Thumbs up if you saw it. Heart if you didn't see it. Anything? Anyone? Bueller? Okay. All right. Can we try it again? We're going to try it again here in just a second. So, here we go. Here we go. It's one of those things. Rodney, you saw it because you said you like it. Shelley, you saw it. Jim for the win, right? Okay. Judy says nope. Judy, was that a nope? You don't like it? Um, da 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 da. You know, I don't know. I can't really tell if you're liking it or not. So here we go. We about ready? No. Okay. All right. So all right, maybe this is going to happen later. Maybe it's not going to happen later. I don't know. We've got a little technical difficulty. So one of the things that happens between podcast and, you know, a few years ago when we were doing this was during COVID, and it got to be really funny. We started in a studio, then all the restrictions came on, and suddenly we were doing this kind of like the distant show, right? So you would have me in one place, producer in another place, and so there it is, right? Okay, now you've seen it. I feel like it's a combination of Fat Albert. Remember Fat Albert cartoon, right? I feel like somehow, and I don't know if there was saying something to me when they put me on the Fat Albert cartoon, but and Sanford and Son. I'm actually like Sanford and the Fat Albert cartoon. So I have aged a little bit, but hey, it's I'm like a wine, right? I just get better with age. Just know that. All right. So if you like it, tell us you like it. If you hate it, tell us you hate it. We're going to throw this up maybe on the American One site with a poll so you can kind of give us some feedback. And you're not going to hurt my feelings, by the way, unless you say that's really a depiction of me. That may hurt my feelings. All right. Listen, last thing before we let you go tonight, I want everybody to look at something. So here we are. We're in Holy Week. We have a we have a crisis really in the country that comes from, I think, a loss of just moral connection, a tie to God, and an experience that um, that all Americans used to have in common, and now it has gone off so much that a very small percentage of Americans are in church. A very small percentage of Americans are really claim to follow Christian doctrine. Even Christians oftentimes are following doctrine that's not really Christian. So Chicago Bulls this week, very interesting story. They have a guard up there, had a guard, Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey makes a comment that, hey, this is Holy Week. Now, I visited Jaden's wife's Instagram page earlier today, and the very first thing she has on her page is, lover of Jesus, right? And so what Jaden said is, hey, I'm not really all about all this gay pride stuff during Holy Week. Like they're hosting pride events during Holy Week. So this is the week that Jesus comes into Bethlehem leading up to Good Friday where he's crucified. So a lot of things happening for the world's Christians, the 1.4 billion or so Catholics, and however many billion, 1 point some billion Protestants. This is really where you have Christ and his disciples doing a lot of the work that really make up the Bible story. So to most people, it's very special. In fact, if you were a kid growing up in the 80s and you didn't go to church, you probably went to church on 2 days. You probably went on Easter and you probably went on Christmas, right? So those were 2 times most people were going to be in church. Some people, that's where they got new clothes, right? You got church clothes because you're going to be in an Easter dress or suit and you're going to be in a Christmas dress or suit. Okay. So the Chicago Bulls, they said, he makes this comment and he says, I'm not really about that. This is Holy Week. We should be thinking about this in a different way. So what do? They fired him. So they released him and they said, this is not activity that is conducive to the Chicago Bulls and who they are. Now, it's not lost on me that Pope Leo is also from Chicago. So how strange. Talk about 2 sides of a coin. We've got the Pope from Chicago, and then we've got the Bulls from Chicago. And simply because somebody speaks out in a way to say, hey, I'm not about that. Can we turn that stuff off? It doesn't have anything to do with basketball. I'm here to play basketball and I don't believe this. Yet he's out. He's out. Now, hopefully a team picks him up. Keep Jaden Ivey and his family. They got 2 beautiful kids. I mean, really seem to be a nice family. This guy is 24 years old, right? 24 years old. He went to Purdue, I think. So Shelly, he might have lived in your neighborhood. I don't know, out in your neck of the woods anyway, right? And here he goes off and he gets fired simply for saying, "Hey, it's not my thing." So it's speech detrimental to the team. Man, keep him and his family in your prayers, and look, keep the country in your prayers, keep the president in your prayers, and most of all, keep these service members who are over there kind of laying the groundwork to open up the Strait of Hormuz and to get things settled back down here in the U.S. and to create a better world. It's great seeing you guys tonight.